There's a passion that ignites us, driven by pride, daring, and the desire to excel, fueled by the high-octane love of owners, drivers, and car lovers everywhere. It's a calling for every man and woman to enjoy and live this lifestyle now. Welcome to Cars and Coffee Exposed.
Aubrey Zelenka, I mean, you are like, you look as cool as your car, first of all. Let's just talk about that.
Well, thank you. I try to match.
You do it well. And this car, I don't even know where to begin with it because it started off as one thing. It has morphed into something completely in its own lane. It's a one of one. So bring us through that process.
Yes, so it started, actually my husband started it. It's a 1946 Ford Business Coupe with a lot of extra body parts. So there's some resemblance of the original form of it, but then you start to look like, what is this? What's that? But it resembles a Zephyr. That was the kind of point of it, to have that style.
And you call it the
Poor man's Zephyr.
But it's really not because at this point.
Yeah, if we charged our hourly rate and, you know, all the things that were put into it, yes, we could have bought a brand new Zephyr. My husband started it. I came in when it was bare metal and he had the initial vision, and then we have a very Art Deco. We love Art Deco. That's like our biggest thing. We love everything. We're very eclectic, but Art Deco is our like heart source. So I think when I came in, it was like already just following his vision and then just adding little things here and there and talking about it throughout the way. And that was just really, it was every new piece that was built, it was like, well, how should we design this? How should we do that? You know, because everything's pretty much, the grill in front is handmade, the engine cover, like talking about, because we have an LS in it, so, which is like kind of not traditional, but we drive ours. We drive it everywhere. It's never been trailered. So just talking about, okay, how do we make this engine look prettier? So drawing a design, and I'm like, okay, here. And then he goes and rolls it out because he's very good at that. So yeah.
Both of you were involved in the vision. Yes. Speaking Art Deco, that instrument panel is a work of art.
Yes.
It looked like, I don't know if you guys did the dash around it because that's what it kind of looks like, but you did an amazing job on that because
thank you. Yeah,
it's just gorgeous. Where did that come from?
So it started with the original dash and then had to piece in some panels to widen it, and then 49 Chrysler dash in the center. So it's kind of like the ship, you know, the captain at the head of the ship in the center. And then he actually designed the center console, and then we kind of just worked together. He'd be like, what do you think about these beads? And what do you think about these steps? And then looking for, you know, there's actually a boat radio with Bluetooth hidden in it because that was the only thing small enough we could find to go inside because it's a very small space that it comes down to. I've always loved cars. My husband he just grew up in like his dad was into drag racing, and he started working on a car when he was like 15 years old in his garage. Me, I grew up out in a swamp, and, you know, I was just always grew up very eclectic, and I learned welding at a really young age. And so when I met him, he was always just working on a car. And it was like, okay, well, like, I'm gonna do more welding. And I had a business doing leather work, and I did stuff for the steel mill. And then so we started incorporating metal work. And then it just kind of took off where it became this business for both of us and taking in client cars. Because I had the business aspect and he had the like more knowledge. He's a great painter. He did auto body for 30 years. So we kind of just combined all of our skills together and like learned from each other with certain things and kind of just like made this little whirlwind.
A match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Obviously it works because if you guys did this together and that's what comes of your union, then you're doing amazing.
Yeah, it's our baby.
What are the responses that you get when you're driving it?
The best response was in Louisville, and he had a very southern draw, and he said, "This looks like water, get yourself a drink."
Oh, I love
and I loved that. I was like, that's perfect. I'm like so smooth and slick and like, you know, so I really like that one. But
well, I'm really excited just to spend time with another woman in the business.
Likewise,
I just love what you're doing, the way you're doing it.
Yes.
Keep on, girl. I'm
Yes.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing it with us. It's
Thank you.
gorgeous. Yeah. Chris Laporte, you have brought us a very special car, a 1952 Allard. And
Thank
not only
you.
did you bring the car, but you brought this treasure trove of history about the car.
Every document from birth.
We even have a original program for the Grand Prix from 1954 that it raced in, and you and I just found it together for the
Yeah,
first
we
time.
did.
You didn't even know this was here.
It shows you what I know.
How amazing! So tell us a few things that you think make it special for you.
Well, I always, and I don't even know why I always wanted one. I always had Ferraris, and I always wanted an Allard. And I happened to be in Monterey, and it was love at first sight. And I just sold a Ferrari Daytona, so I had a bunch of money in my pocket.
It was meant for
Yeah,
you.
it was
I
cool,
think it
yeah.
was meant for you.
It was really
Do you
cool.
drive it?
Where I live out in the country, so my round the block is 5.5 miles. So I've taken it around that, but this car likes to steer you. It was made for the racetrack. So if you hit a bump, and I live in Illinois, and we got plenty of bumps. But I've had it on the racetrack. I do touring class, because it doesn't have a roll bar, so but I'm not a big racer anyhow. It's fun.
It's just
really
fun.
fun. Yeah.
It's just fun.
It's a fun, noisy, it makes a lot of noise, and I have a Dodge Viper that makes a lot of noise, and it tries to kill me. Well, this car could get the job done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This car, yeah.
And it's raced many times.
Yes, it's raced its whole life.
So
It was never a street car, ever.
It went from Cadillac. I had a Cadillac motor.
It started life with a Cadillac 331 Cadillac motor.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in time, it was changed to a DeSoto Adventurer motor, and it raced Bonneville Salt Flats in that twice. Went 124 miles an hour with the Allard body on it, with the body that's on it now, which is the original body. And then it went 154 miles an hour with the Sorrel body on it, which was a more streamlined fiberglass body that Sorrel was making bodies then.
And then how did it get from there
And then,
to?
and then because they had the body off, and the body sat in New Jersey for, I believe, like 20 years. And then the Elby brothers come along, and the Elby brothers were big racers out of Naples, Florida. So the Elbys took the chassis, but they had all the bits and pieces of the car, which is very rare for these cars because they were race cars. So they're
yeah.
always smashed up, they're off the road.
True.
This car had been off a couple times. It just spun out, it never rolled over or anything. So it was all the original, which is really cool. It's the original bodywork, and you can tell because it's the old aluminum with the seams and not new, smooth.
And it wasn't originally blue.
It was originally was a metallic blue, a dark metallic blue.
Oh, it was a dark metallic
And when
blue.
the Elbys got it, it was bare metal. But it's really cool.
I love that
Yeah.
blue. It fits you. I love that you kept this, and I'm so excited that you continued to document the whole journey of it, and how much you've really cared for it, how much it's been cared for over the years, and I know you're going to continue to care for it in the same way. Thanks for bringing her out. What's her name, by the way? Does she have a name?
My car? No, I don't.
You don't name
the
your
blue one.
cars?
Yeah,
The blue one? Okay.
That's bad luck.
Yeah, I think it's
That's
the
bad
dude.
luck with me naming anything. So it's not my daughter.
Well, Thank you,
Yeah.
Chris. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So nice meeting you.
Thank you. Pleasure. Same here. Too.
We'll be right back with more Cars and Coffee Exposed.
Promotional consideration provided by
What is Urable? We are a business management system that helps create an exceptional customer experience and improves business operations. As a car enthusiast, you deserve the best, and Urable is the common denominator. With so many detail shops, endless brands of ceramic coatings, window tint, and paint protection film, it's hard to find the right shop for the job. Shops powered by Urable understand the care and quality that your investment requires. Avoid shops that are in the race to the bottom. If you want to identify the best providers in your area, make sure they're powered by Urable.
Your car is stolen. A crisis for you. A tragedy for your community. Theft hurts everyone. Insurance rises. Your neighborhood violated. Who will be next? But you can feel more protected and secure with the LoJack system. LoJack brings it back. LoJack's vehicle recovery system will find your vehicle usually within 30 minutes. And with the recent launch of LoJack LE, we're equipping our law enforcement partners with a safer and more efficient way to recover your vehicle. The LoJack app creates a bond of trust, providing enhanced features designed to promote safety and convenience, and you'll always know where your vehicle is. Only LoJack stands with this promise. Receive up to $10,000 reimbursement if your vehicle is not recovered in 30 days. Let LoJack bring back your safety, confidence, and give you a greater driving experience. LoJack brings it back.
Get ready for an adrenaline-fueled ride with Cars and Coffee Exposed. It's not just a show, it's a whole new automotive experience. Now's the time to claim your spot as a brand partner for the electrifying 2024 season. Partner with us to inject your brand into our high-octane episodes and connect with car enthusiasts live at Cars and Coffee events nationwide. Rev up your marketing strategy today. Contact carsandcoffeeexposed.com and let's accelerate together.
Welcome back to Cars and Coffee Exposed.
Meet Jordan Sawalka. This successful entrepreneur started his own repossession business nearly 20 years ago. Around the same time, he started collecting cars. Now he's put together an enviable collection of beauties, most of them dressed in black. We caught up with Jordan at his automotive man cave somewhere in Scottsdale.
We're here with Jordan Sawalka, who has invited us to view his beautiful car collection. Thank you so much, Jordan, for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
How many cars do you have here?
About 20, give or take, whatever the day of the week is. We have a couple of HKS demo cars here, several Porsches like strewn throughout the building. The Aventador SVJ is over there. And then one of my like big loves is like Chrysler product, like Mopar stuff. So we got like 3 or 4 Mopars on the racks and old 56 Chevy.
You decided to start collecting cars, why?
Well, I mean, because I have the room to do it now. Yeah. So in the beginning, I wasn't able to collect anything. I just would buy something and then trade it in. And then we bought this warehouse, and when you have room, you start to fill it up. Yeah. So this is really spiraled out of control. So
it's pretty out of control,
yeah,
but in like the best way possible.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
You started in the automotive world, how?
Just from childhood, first Hot Wheels. That 50 cents is like the most expensive addiction that we'll ever create like later in life. So yeah, then started a tow company and just started like buying stuff that I loved when I was a kid and I couldn't afford.
Throughout your collection, you have different cars for different experiences. Tell us about some of the other cars in your collection and kind of how you acquired them.
I like everything, and I think when people get into like maybe even collecting cars, they start to maybe only go after like what's expensive, and I think that just kind of sucks. I think that there are so many cool cars for different reasons, and the Dodge Neon SRT4, it's a Dodge Neon, it was $17,000 brand new. That's one of the most important cars in here, because I just love that car so much. So if you get outside of being obsessed with price or status, there are some really, really cool cars that you can drive and own, and they're very obtainable, and I've just always loved that about cars. There's just something different for every day of the week.
What sparked your love of cars?
My neighbor Ray was an old hot rodder, and he had a 1956 Chevy, just like the one that's up there, and he had all black cars. So he always told me that you can tell if people take care of their car, but you can really tell if people take care of their car when they're black. And he was a retired FDNY, and I rode my bike home every day from school, and I'd go to his house for like 2 hours and watch him restore his cars, his old 56. And the cool part about that car back there is that it has the same exact engine that was in his car. So it's a 427 big block, and he sold it to me about 4 years ago when we restored that car. So the dream car that I had when I was a kid, I'm so fortunate enough to have the engine out of it, and it's just one of the coolest things in here to me.
You built a business, you work so hard as business owners do, and you finally get that one car that you're like, I've made it, I'm buying this car.
Yeah.
So what's that car?
It's an Aventador SVJ. I always loved vertical door Lamborghinis. When I was a kid, the Diablo and the Countach was the poster car in my room.
What's so special about this car?
There's a lot of things, but it's just such an extreme Lamborghini, and it was the last flagship model like Lamborghini, the SVJ, before we start to move into more of a hybrid future. I think it's really cool that it's just the last super, super raw Lamborghini.
So I'm super excited because I hear we're going for a ride.
We are. We'll take the SVJ out today.
Can we do that right now?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, let's go. supercars in one place ever in my life. I've been a lot of cities. I mean, I'm sure I'd probably see that in Monte Carlo, but I mean, it's just really, people seem to be very comfortable.
It's pretty safe, pretty chill.
Yeah.
You know, for now, I hope it stays that way, but I love it out here, man. I've been here my whole life.
You said it's your first Lambo.
First V12, like the first like door up Lambo.
Yeah, and you think this is the last of the V12s, huh?
It is. So the new Revolto is, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Pardon me, Lamborghini. Okay. Pardon me, Lamborghini gods. It's going to be a V12 hybrid assist. But this is going to be this is the last naturally aspirated wild Lamborghini that they built. So this is an SVJ, and that was the highest trim level at the time for this car. So yeah, this is kind of the last of them all.
This is what you wanted. You always wanted this car.
So when I was a kid, I think like we all, like in my case with my age, the Countach and the Diablo were the cars on the wall, the poster cars. You know, the vertical door Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And those were awesome cars, but obviously they're out of production. So at this point, I was able to get this at like this age in my life.
Yeah.
And I think this is gnarly.
I mean, I do a lot of interiors, so I was just noticing all the details and the Alcantara.
Thank you so much.
Carbon fiber, of course, all that's to make it light and fast.
It is.
How fast is it?
So this car, like max top speed is about 210 miles an hour. Yeah, boogies.
I feel like my balls just dropped. Oh my God.
You know, the cool thing about this car is these Lamborghinis, these V12 cars, were never great handling cars. But this car is this was the fastest production car around Nürburgring for a couple of years. So I think they finally were like, hey, they look so exotic, they look like art, well, let's make them really as fast on the track as it looks,
wow.
right? So that's what's really cool about this car.
Yeah, combination of beauty and beast.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So how fast have you gotten it up to?
This car probably like 180. We went to Roebling Raceway, and we were about 176 and almost 180 on the back straight. It's a really long straight. So it was really cool, super stable. It was awesome. This car has active aerodynamics. So essentially what happens is it will start to like bleed air after a certain speed to pull it under the car to increase stability. So there's all sorts of like different aerodynamic components that are like at play to keep the car stable at speed. It has four-wheel steering. So below 88 miles an hour, the wheels turn like this to help bring the back of the car around. But after 88 miles an hour, they turn like this to keep the car stable in high-speed maneuvering. So it's like, there's a lot of really cool things.
Technology.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how far it's come. It makes you look like a really good driver, you know? I think I was pretty equipped to handle it when I got it. So I would say that I didn't have to learn anything, but this car taught me a lot about respecting power, and the margin for error is really slim in this car, you know? It's big, it's a V12, and if you're not careful, it'll teach you a lesson at the track.
How many of these did they make?
They made 900 SVJ coupes worldwide. I don't know, I always liked the underdog.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like Lamborghini so much, is it was the underdog. Ferrari was always the pinnacle brand, and you know, Ferruccio Lamborghini was, I think he was the underdog, right? I've always noticed that when I deal with Lamborghini owners, they're really approachable. And it seems like even some of them themselves are maybe more blue collar, and this was like their dream car. And I've always loved that about the brand.
These cars are so fun to drive because they are engaging, and I think that's what a lot of like newer cars lack, is that engagement.
I think that as cars get watered down, like kids today will never experience like oversteer situation or keeping a car stable.
Right.
Not only does it make you a good driver, it keeps you engaged in the car.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably the sad part about maybe like where automotive is going today.
Yeah.
And I understand like that's progress, and thank goodness these cars are still around and they're still being taken care of. So I think you'll be able to find them, but the engagement's everything.
Yeah. So I feel like you're definitely in the right place for car love, because I've seen more supercars and exotics here than I have, I think, in any other city I've been in, just driving on the street. So Scottsdale seems to be kind of a capital for that.
There was like 4 or 5 F40s that were at Cars and Coffee.
Right.
So it's just insane to think that those are here residing in collections. But yeah, Scottsdale, Phoenix area, the Arizona car culture is really important. It's part of our foundation.
I'm so glad we got a chance to see it because it was really unique. And it's always good to see people bringing their kids out and being able to really get close to these cars, because that's just going to continue to ignite that love like you talked about with the community.
I think no matter like the difference with anybody, I think cars are a common denominator. And even if you can't get along about anything else, if you like cars, it's really easy to carry a conversation with someone for a few hours. And I don't know, it's like a peaceful feeling.
We'll be right back with more Cars and Coffee Exposed.
Promotional consideration provided by... Get ready for an adrenaline-fueled ride with Cars and Coffee Exposed. It's not just a show, it's a whole new automotive experience. Now's the time to claim your spot as a brand partner for the electrifying 2024 season. Partner with us to inject your brand into our high-octane episodes and connect with car enthusiasts live at Cars and Coffee events nationwide. Rev up your marketing strategy today. Contact carsandcoffeeexposed.com and let's accelerate together.
Welcome back to Cars and Coffee Exposed.
Corey, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
I am so excited to talk about this beauty behind us. It's a rat rod. So tell us a little bit about just the rat rod culture.
I've always been in love with these types of rats, things of that nature. I built the car, found it in Caddo, Oklahoma, off Craigslist of all places. And I always wanted a patina car because I had had nice cars prior, all American steel.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep the classic look, but yet the resto mod and a ton of power.
It's gorgeous. So yeah, talk about the power.
So the car is actually a 5.3 LS1. I bought a Suburban off of Craigslist, and I ditched the entire body of the Suburban, kept the power plant, and sold everything else. And then we put some 66mm turbos on it. Runs a 4L80 transmission that's built with a stage 2 shift kit, 4 9-inch rear end with 3/7 gears. And I'm tuned at 6 pounds of boost on a real mild tune, and I'm getting 600 at the rear.
I love this because there's so many cars that people don't really get to enjoy, but it sounds like you get to enjoy this one.
This one's the most fun going up the highway.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit second gear, it kicks loose and it's smoke. Quarter mile behind you, getting on the highway.
I love it. You have this love of cars, and where did it come from?
I had a couple cars prior to this, and I used to dream when I was in college about twin turbo builds. I thought it was the coolest thing, and I could never afford it to pay somebody to do it, so I had to do it myself. So I've been dreaming of this car since I was 20 years old and 39 now. So
wow, congratulations.
19 years to come to fruition, and
I love it.
there's more in the future.
Is this your first build, or have you done other cars before?
I had done other cars previously, just a few. But this was the first one that I knew I wanted to keep, so it had to be cherry.
How long did it take you?
Well, I'm at 3 years on it now, and still
not done?
They're never done.
We talked to a lot of rat rod owners, and they're never done. That's the beauty of these builds, is that they just, all the parts that are repurposed for these rat rods, I just find it so interesting.
I always like to go by the built, not bought.
What's your investment up to this point?
There's about 50 grand in parts.
Wow.
Yeah, as
wow.
it sits.
But labor, I mean.
What's your time worth?
Exactly. What's your time worth?
That's right.
We'll keep working on it. It's beautiful as it is, and we
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see what else you're going to do with it. Keep us
Appreciate that.
Keep us informed.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Chelsea.
much, Corey.
Thank you.
So Andy, this looks like a 69 GT40, but it's not.
It's not.
Okay, so tell me what it is.
It's actually built in 2023. It's a Golf livery tribute edition to the 1969 GT40. And it's built in South Africa by a company under the license of Shelby. So it's built by Superperformance, and Superperformance is the only company in the world that actually builds Shelby licensed car. They build Cobras, they build GT40s. And so this car is actually in the GT40 registry as an official successor of the 69 GT40.
So I think there's a lot of viewers that really don't know how that process works. How does that work? And why this car? You decided you wanted this car, and then what happened after that? What was the process?
Or like a lot of people, I watched Ford versus Ferrari, where we won. And after that, I was really looking into getting a edition of the GT40. There's quite a few manufacturers that build these cars. You can also build one at home, but there's only one manufacturer that goes 90% close to the original, and that was my goal. So you order something from Superperformance, you get a build slot, and it takes about 2 years.
Right, so it actually takes you 2 years to just get on the
Docket.
That is so interesting. And then you get on the docket, and then how long?
They build about 12 cars a year. Yeah, you wait about 2 years, and then they start building. And then it takes another 6 months to 7 months before you get the car delivered.
Wow.
It takes quite a while. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, were you just...
Oh.
You were so anxious, ready to have it,
Yeah. I was
How many
looking
times
at-
did you visit?
I actually visited South Africa in the factory. I was invited and I talked to the owner and I saw this car being built. I licked the handle in South Africa. I saw the car being built.
Yeah.
It's all hand built. So there's no parts that they buy except for the lights.
Right.
But everything else is hand built, hand manufactured with the original tooling of Shelby.
It seems like the best of both worlds where it looks like a 69, but it drives like a 23.
No.
Okay, tell me how it
I
drives.
wish. No, the only upgrade I did was air conditioning, but it actually drives like a 69 because it has the original chassis.
Interesting. So did
Yeah.
you have to learn how to drive it? Did you take it on the
No.
track out there? Or?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I got
okay.
it like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago.
Really? So
Yeah,
you've only
so
had
it's
it 4
brand new to
weeks?
me, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm taking it to the track probably next week
Yeah.
for the first time.
Yeah. Is that a little bit scary?
It is, yeah.
You've
yeah.
waited 4 years for this car. I bet.
But
I
it's
bet.
meant to drive on the
Yeah,
track.
that's what you
for
bought
sure.
it for.
Yeah.
What else do you have in your collection besides this one?
I have a Lamborghini Countach, Lamborghini STO, Porsche, Ferrari 812,
So
a couple of cars.
You've
Like,
always been a car guy? This has always been your thing?
it started a few years ago. It started with one car and it just escalated when I moved to Scottsdale.
Okay.
As you see, Scottsdale
I
is the
see.
pinnacle of car
I'm telling you.
enthusiast, and there's cars everywhere. So
Beautiful. We've seen some beautiful cars today, but this is definitely my top 3.
thank you.
It's gorgeous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending time with us. I am really trying to not be biased and not have a favorite, but oh my God, you're making it hard.
Yep.
This thing is beautiful.
Thank you.
And it has so much history behind it. So
Oh, yeah.
I want you to talk about that because it's so unique.
It's Enzo's last car before he passed away in 1988. And plus, it's the first 200-mile-per-hour car ever produced. And there's a lot of very first things on this car, like the tires on this car are Pirelli P0s. Now, P0s are famous now, particularly in Formula One. But the very first P0 tires were on this car. They had to make P0 tires for this car because the boost would come on so intense that they had to put special tires
Yeah.
from Pirelli for this car.
So it was sold in Rome
Yep.
initially,
In '92,
and then it went to
Japan.
Japan.
And I bought it maybe a year and a half ago. I didn't know anything about F40s then, but now I know everything about F40s.
I'm sure you do. You're,
I work on it every week.
How much time do you think you spend on this
Oh.
weekly?
I don't know. I might, because I'm retired,
Yeah.
right? So I've had this for a year and a half, and I'm trying to take some of the years off the car, giving it tender, loving care. And it's very mechanical, these cars. I mean, you can work on it with a screwdriver and a wrench. And I've just been cleaning things up and working on it. I don't know, every week I put a couple hours into it.
It's immaculate. Let's talk about the luggage.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm a girl and I like those kinds of things.
Yes, I know women love those luggage. I bought the luggage before I got the car. It came up on Bring a Trailer, and I'm going, you know, this is going to be a deal. You never see the luggage for this car because it's specially designed to fit up in that hole, that round hole in the front. And I bought it on Bring a Trailer, and then 6 months later, I bought the car.
So you told me how you acquired the car and what you had to sacrifice to get the car.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I had to sell our home. I built 40 years ago, and half of it went into the home here, half went into this car.
You're driving a house.
This car has always been out of reach for me. I never even thought I would ever own one.
How'd you feel after you bought it?
Buyer's remorse. I mean, you've got yourself a house sitting there. right? And you're going, oh, did I get the right car? I mean, is it a lemon? You don't
Can
really
I assure you, you did get the right car?
Great, thanks. And I like taking to shows like this and being on channels like this because it inspires people.
It does.
You
It
know,
really
if
does.
you don't see the car and you don't know about special things about the car, I try to bring people into my garage and actually show them this is what this does, for this purpose.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great design. I mean, till this day, it is just absolutely relevant and beautiful, and you've taken such good care of
Thank
her. Yeah, anything else you want to tell us about the car?
Oh, well, I could go into how long's your program?
Well, we wish we had all day. Thank you so much, Tom.
Okay.
You're amazing.
Thanks.
This
Thanks
car
for
is
having me.
great. We love it.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.